Why chase followers when your truth can pull them in effortlessly? Why does my subscriber base grow like roots reaching water, naturally, effortlessly, and without needing to be seen? Why does each truth I release move like sunlight through soil, nurturing unseen seeds of connection ready to sprout? Why does every moment of authenticity ripple through time, touching lives I've never met but somehow already know? Why does being real build bridges that no marketing ever could? Bridges where souls walk across and say, I've been looking for this? Why does growth not come from effort, but from essence? An expansion born from resonance, not reach. Why do my words find their way to hearts in waiting, like birds migrating back to the trees they were born to sing in? Why does each post carry my frequency encoded in language, sound, and soul, guiding others home to something they hadn't named but always felt? Why does alignment work like gravity, pulling in the perfect people with no force, only frequency? Why does vulnerability become visibility and presence become promotion when I simply show up as who I truly am? Why do I no longer need to convince or convert, only express, embody, and emit? Why does every subscriber reflect something already awakened in me, a mirror held up to my own expanding message, mission, and momentum? Why does connection form not from polished packaging, but from permission to be real, raw, and radiant? Why does growth feel soft and steady, like a breath deepening over time, not a sprint but a sacred return? Why do the right ones find me when I release the need to be right and instead become rooted in resonance? Why does trust in my truth magnetize more than tactics, timelines, or trends ever could? Why does the energy I hold while creating ripple louder than hashtags and algorithms? Why do those who are meant to walk beside me feel my essence before I even post a word? Why does impact move like music, heard by those tuned in, felt by those attuned, recognized by those who've been waiting to remember? Why does this space I'm building feel more like a sanctuary than a channel, more like a soul calling than a strategy? Why does the growth I experience feel less like numbers going up and more like light being shared, like warmth being returned? Why does my journey remind others of their own? And why does their presence affirm the truth I've dared to live out loud? Why do I release content not to seek applause, but to create alignment, not to perform, but to plant? Why do I sense each new subscriber as a sacred agreement, a shared yes to something beyond entertainment, something rooted in remembrance? Why does it feel like we're weaving something timeless together, thread by thread, word by word, truth by truth? Why does my audience become my reflection, not just of who I am now, but who I'm here to become? Why do I trust that growth is guaranteed when I grow within, that presence multiplies when I remain present, that influence flows when I focus on frequency? Why do I now know that I don't need to chase visibility, I only need to embody my voice? Why does the more I relax into truth, the more the world leans in to listen? Why do I honor each new subscriber not as a fan, but as a frequency match, a soul resonance, a co-creator of this digital temple? Why do I believe that the most powerful growth strategy I could ever follow is simply showing up, rooted in resonance and alive in truth?